There's a strange thing about the front of a house. You can repaint it, you can swap the door, you can put in new lighting, and it still looks flat, like a face with no expression. And then somebody plants one vine against a simple wooden trellis, and 18 months later that same house looks like it belongs on a magazine cover. That's the whole trick. A trellis costs less than a nice dinner out. The vine costs less than a pizza. And unlike almost every other upgrade you'll ever make to your home, this one gets better every single year instead of slowly falling apart. So today I want to walk you through 15 climbing vines that genuinely transform a front entry. What each one gives you, what it asks from you, and which one is actually right for your wall. Stay with me to the end, because number 13 is the one I'd plant if I could only ever plant one. Before the list, 1 minute of setup that'll save you a lot of frustration. Vines climb in 3 different ways, and choosing wrong is the number 1 reason people give up on this. Twiners wrap their whole stem around something. They need something thin to grab: wires, thin battens, mesh. A fat 4x4 post is too wide for them to hold. Tendril climbers shoot out little curly fingers that grab on. Same deal, thin supports, and they love a grid. Clingers produce sticky pads or aerial roots and stick themselves flat to any surface. No trellis needed at all. Beautiful, but they hold on hard, and on old crumbling mortar or painted timber you'll be scraping later. On solid, sound masonry, perfect. So the rule is simple. Twiners and tendril climbers get a trellis or wire. Clingers get a bare wall, and only a wall you don't mind them gripping. One more thing. Mount your trellis on spacers so there's a 2-inch gap behind it. That air gap keeps your wall dry and lets you swing the whole thing away from the house when you need to paint. 10 seconds of thought, 20 years of not regretting it. If I had to name the single most reliable vine for a front entry, this is it. Glossy dark green leaves all year, so your trellis never looks like a bundle of dead sticks in winter. Then in late spring it throws out hundreds of small white pinwheel flowers, and the scent carries clear across the driveway. Not perfumey heavy, clean, warm, slightly sweet. It's well behaved, it takes a hard trim without sulking, and in a hot climate it's more or less unkillable once established. Colder than Zone 8, grow it in a large pot near the door and bring it in. Looser and wilder than star jasmine, more of a romantic tumble than a neat green wall. The fragrance is stronger, and it flowers from summer well into autumn. Great for an arch over a gate where you want that slightly overgrown cottage feeling. The cold climate answer to jasmine. Honeysuckle handles frost that would flatten the others, and it perfumes the air most intensely in the evening, which is exactly when you're walking up to your own front door. Bonus: hummingbirds. Once word gets out on your street that your porch has hummingbirds, you'll get comments. One caution: buy a named garden variety. Some wild honeysuckles are invasive in some regions, so ask your local nursery. Buttery yellow trumpets in late winter when nothing else is doing anything. If your entry looks bleak in February, this is the fix. Evergreen, tidy, low fuss. Important: every part of it is toxic if eaten. Skip it if you've got a toddler or a leaf-chewing dog at the front step. Yes, it's an annual, plant it anyway. Sweet peas give you the strongest scent per square foot of anything on this list. They hit full height in one season. And here's the real reason: they're the perfect placeholder. Plant sweet peas at the base of a slow, permanent vine. And while the permanent one takes 3 years to fill in, the sweet peas make your trellis look finished this summer. The flowers are enormous. Some varieties hit 6 inches across, and there's a clematis in almost every color you can name. The famous rule with clematis: cool roots, warm face. Shade the base with a low shrub or a layer of mulch, Let the top climb into the sun, and it'll reward you for a decade. Plant it a couple inches deeper than it sits in the pot. That's your insurance against the one disease that bothers them. Nothing signals this house is loved like roses around a doorway. They're not true climbers, they don't grab anything, so you tie the canes to your trellis. And here's the tip most people miss. Train the main cane sideways, horizontally, not straight up. A cane bent horizontal puts out flowering shoots along its entire length. A vertical one flowers at the tip only. Same plant, 5 times the blooms. Pure spectacle. Magenta, coral, white, sunset orange, and it flowers harder the more you neglect it. Too much water and rich soil gives you a big green plant with no color. Let it get a bit thirsty and lean, and it explodes. Warm climates only. But if that's you, nothing else on this list delivers this much color for this little effort. Big satin trumpet flowers, deep glossy leaves, blooms continuously all summer without deadheading. It's the ideal vine for a pair of pots flanking the front door with a small obelisk in each. Instant symmetry, instant polish. The most extraordinary flower you can grow on a house wall, an alien-looking crown of purple filaments over white petals. Every single guest stops and asks about it. Fast grower, so give it room and cut it back hard each spring. Cheerful little orange and yellow flowers with dark centers, from seed to full trellis in a single season. This is the low-commitment option. If you're not sure you want a permanent vine yet, spend a few dollars, try this for a summer, and see how the wall looks. Also called Queen's Wreath. Sprays of tiny pink hearts, cascading in a way that softens hard edges better than almost anything. Superb over an arch or a gate. Fast and vigorous. Check whether it's considered invasive in your area before planting. This is my one. Lacy white flower plates in early summer. Heart-shaped leaves that turn clear yellow in autumn. And in winter, when the leaves drop, you're left with peeling cinnamon-colored bark that looks deliberate like architecture, not like a dead plant. It also does something almost nothing else does. It flowers well in shade. North-facing entry, dim side of the house. This is your answer. The catch, it's slow. There's an old saying about it. First year it sleeps, second year it creeps, third year it leaps. Plant it knowing you're planting for the version of your house that exists 3 years from now. Every single person I know who planted one says the same thing. I wish I'd done it sooner. The one that turns entire buildings' fire engine red every October. Covers fast, needs zero support, and holds itself flat and neat against masonry. 2 conditions. Only on sound, solid brick or stone, and be ready to trim it off windows and gutters once a year. Do that, and it's the most dramatic autumn effect available to a homeowner. Everyone wants those hanging lavender chandeliers. Almost everyone plants the wrong species. Chinese and Japanese wisteria are enormously strong, take up to a decade to flower, and will genuinely crush a wooden pergola over time. American wisteria, Amethyst Falls is the one to ask for, is roughly 1/3 the size, blooms within 2 or 3 years, and won't demolish your porch. Same magic, none of the regret. Give it a serious support structure regardless, steel or a heavy timber frame, not a thin garden center panel. So 15 vines, and I know that's a lot to hold in your head. Let me make it simple. If you want fragrance at your front door, plant star jasmine. If your entry is shady and gloomy, plant climbing hydrangea. If you want maximum color in a hot climate, plant bougainvillaea. If you want to try this without committing, spend a few dollars on black-eyed Susan vine this summer. And whichever one you choose, get the support up before you plant. Trellis on spacers, 2-inch gap, mounted properly into the wall. Do that part right and the plant will handle the rest for the next 20 years. The honest truth about vines is that they're the only home upgrade that's worth more the longer you own the house. Your paint fades, your fixtures date, your vine gets more beautiful every single year. Planted this season, thank yourself in 3. If you found this useful, subscribe. I've got a follow-up coming on how to build and mount a front wall trellis for under $50. And tell me in the comments, what's the wall you're thinking about right now? Sunny or shady, hot climate or cold? I read them all and I'll point you to the right vine. See you in the next one.